I've been thinking about the concept of a shadow. You have, let's say, a solid mass, and you have a light source. The mass is going to cast a shadow like this. The shadow has many of the characteristics of that solid mass. The same thing is happening with screens. In the 1990s, if you saw some sort of content on a monitor, right, connected to a PC, if you wanted to transfer that content, you needed a floppy disk or a CD-ROM drive, right? To pull it out from that computer and put it on the next computer or the next device. But today it's very different. It's sort of like the computer is just a screen. It's just emitting information that's not even on the PC. That information is now on the cloud, and it follows you around consistently like a shadow from the PC to your mobile phone to your PC. Similarly, your personality on these digital platforms is different depending on different circumstances. In a decade, it's almost like you'll have the power of wizardry. Either through glasses or through lenses, you will be able to project information on any surface. Instead of you having a mobile phone, you are now going to be able to just project information onto the back of your wrist, like those sci-fi movies. Instead of you having a very powerful PC, that PC is going to live in the cloud and stream information to your glasses, right? It's just going to be visual information. It's just going to be very powerful internet. You're going to be under the influence of Wi-Fi all the time, right? And you are going to be able to just draw out the power that's sitting in the cloud. One of the first companies that actually proved this was possible was Stadia, which is the gaming platform, right? Where instead of you having to download the game, they live stream the game to you. So whenever you move left on the controller, it is sending that information across to the internet, and on that PC that lives in the cloud, that character is moving left. We basically just get windows into the world, and our identity traverses with us everywhere. No gaps, not even for the bathroom. I know your phone kind of still makes it to the bathroom, but not even for the bathroom. Now I'll tell you, there's a secondary effect of having something in our visual periphery all the time. The question I want to ask you is, what is going to be in your visual periphery? My belief is that it's going to be something that's very consistent among many people that are wearing the same device. What I mean by that is, your Twitter profile is probably going to show, let's say, 1,000 followers. Now, if I open it, it's also going to show me 1,000 followers. It's sort of like there's a database that's keeping track of this information, and both of us see that same information. That can be taken forward a notch. Just like Pokemon Go, you could see a Pikachu in front of you, right? And if I was playing the same game, I would also see a Pikachu in the same area, which is what Pokemon Go did and became very, very famous for. The implication of that is that we start believing things that are not truly real. Let me explain what this means. Let's say you and I both agree that I have 100,000 followers on, let's say, YouTube. But in reality, there is no such thing as 100,000 followers. It's just that on YouTube's platform, in their database, it says Varun Maya, 100,000, you and I both see it, so it becomes real to us, right? We, after the invention of the internet and screens, have stopped being able to differentiate what is real and what is fake. In fact, I would go one step further and I would say that there is no such thing as real and fake. If we all believe in something, it becomes real, like the concept of money. Money is not real, but since we all believe in it, since that shopkeeper down the road will take your 5 rupees, it becomes real to him, it becomes real to you, it becomes a utility. Similarly, that is now going to extend to Pokemon, right? It is now going to expand to so many other things outside of Pokemon. And that is where I believe that AR will have the maximum impact on our lives, far more than VR. Like, just imagine, you and your friends have probably played Age of Empires online. Imagine being able to do that on a tabletop, where I have these glasses on, you have these glasses on, we're both seeing the same thing. We're both seeing Age of Empires happen in the real world in real time. And I can move my character, you can see that character being moved in real time, you can react accordingly. Immediately, any flat surface, right? And I'm telling you, just like the world has adapted for computers and mobile phones with charging points and stuff across the world, flat surfaces are going to become more common as we want space to start projecting so that people can do multiplayer things with each other. If me and my wife want to watch a movie, instead of us turning on the TV, we're just going to have a flat space where we project information and we're both seeing the same information at the same time. So having that sort of power in your eyes changes the burden of entertainment from your monitor and your television and your Fire Stick to pure software. Now, I know you guys have seen the toy version of AR. You've seen the version of AR where you put up your phone and you can see like a lion. That is not what I'm talking about. It has the elements of it. It's like a toy camera which we used to use when we were young, but it will evolve into something much, much, much better and real time. Now, AR has been overshadowed by its cousin, virtual reality. The problem with virtual reality, after having used it for many, many years, is that virtual reality has a retention problem. People use it once, people use it twice, people use it 4-5 times, and then they stop. They just put it in their cupboard and never see it again. And the problem is that having a big device stuck to your face all the time that requires charging every 2 hours is simply too painful. And that's why I believe that in 10 years, AR is going to dwarf VR, but not AR on the phone. And this is why every company from Microsoft to Google to Facebook are all working on AR headsets that are light and portable and that are able to do everything I just told you. Goldman Sachs, in fact, projected that AR and VR by 2025 will make $80 billion in revenue. It's going to be a steep curve. We're nowhere close to $80 billion in revenue for these two technology. Facebook, which is now Meta, actually believes that VR and AR is going to play a very, very big part of their revenues. And Facebook is historically not a company that's cared too much about revenue. Since 2019, AR sales have been climbing like crazy. Unlike smartphones, AR is creeping up on us. The reason for this is because unlike smartphones, the initial customer base for AR is going to be businesses. Instead of you buying 1,000 monitors, it's easier for you to buy glasses for your team members and tell them, hey, take it on the go. Remote work. You want to go to Taiwan and work? Go do it. You want to go to Bali and work? You can do that. Just carry these glasses along, and the information, the data is going to be here in our database, which will be streamed to you over Wi-Fi, over the internet. And just like the internet and computers, we won't even know when our life changed or adapted because of AR. It's just going to be one of those things that happened. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the opportunity here. One of the first investors that ever invested in me once told me something very interesting. He told me that every big business, massive businesses, are built on some cultural or technological change. Instagram and WhatsApp didn't become big because, photo sharing was a new thing or chat was a new thing. They became big because they rode on the coattails of smartphones. When the smartphone came out, the first company to ever come out with a task manager for the smartphone is today making $100 million in annual revenue. New platform, new opportunities. So I believe that in the AR space, there's going to be plenty of opportunities. Some of them are already taken. For example, it would be hard for you to make a video streaming service in AR because, hey, YouTube's already the giant there. But in many other segments, for example, shared Excel sheets, because Excel doesn't have really powerful 3D capabilities yet, you can build that technology first, right? And serve millions of business customers, because I feel AR is really going to kickstart with business, whereas VR has kickstarted with games. And I feel like whenever you do something for business, you make money, and whenever people make money, an industry gets formed. To get into this space, I recommend the Unreal Engine. Now, Unreal Engine is a platform that I've been using for a very long time at this point. I've been a game developer since I was the age of 13. And Unreal Engine makes it very easy to get into actually building AR and VR technology. In fact, I even taught a cohort on Unreal Engine, and many of those students got placed in companies like Bombay Play. Now, lately, I haven't really had the time to actually do a cohort by myself. And I'm a really big long-term believer in AR, VR, and the Metaverse, right? I don't like using the word Metaverse, but I'm a really big believer in this. And one of the companies that I spoke to very recently that has actually built their own AR glasses is actually running a cohort very similar to mine, where they're actually teaching people Unreal Engine among a suite of other technology. They are actually one of the few companies that has actually built out a mixed reality headset, given it out to many creators under the Ajna Creator Program. Now, I really respect people who both build the technology as well as build the software to run that technology. Now, Ajna is one of the few companies that have actually built out a mixed reality headset and is now creating a set of courses to actually learn more and build software for that headset. Like I told you, they figured out the technology part. Now it's time for the software, so you can take advantage when 2025 or 2030 comes about. Starting with AR, VR, NFTs, blockchain, and even digital twin technologies, something that I actually did in the past, Ajna is taking you through the whole hog of what it means to build for that reality that's coming in 2030 using the Unreal Engine, which is something that I've fallen in love with a long time ago. Now, the people who know me know that anyone who's doing stuff in Unreal Engine in India, I have a soft spot in my heart for them, right? And when I spoke to the team, when I looked at what they're building, when I looked at that hardware infra, I was like, these people know what they're doing, right? And it's rare for me to say that about this space. Now, I asked them if this is only for computer science graduates or if anyone can join. And according to them, absolutely anyone can join. You don't need a coding degree. You don't need any sort of coding experience. And by the end of it, you get complete support either for a job or to go out and start your own AR, VR business. Their first batch is starting on the 15th of August. And for tracking purposes, go use my code Varun50 to get 50% off on that batch. The link is in the description if you want to know more about this. Now, one very interesting or important point for me to put here is, I want to tell you why they have skin in the game. Firstly, because they are one of the only XR hardware OEMs to actually build AR, VR glasses in India. That itself is big credibility because nobody's doing it. They were started all the way in 2014 at IIT Bombay with the idea to enable grassroots human performance for the next decade. They built AR, VR technology for the Indian Navy, for the Army, for DRDO, and bunch of other companies. They've built AR-based remote assistants, they've built VR training simulators, and they're also working with Tata to build the world's largest metaverse for vocational training. So definitely go give them a check out. You know, there's going to be a lush new playing field. Suddenly, you're going to have this era where there is completely new hardware and zero software for that platform. You need to be upskilled and you need to be ready for that platform. And the tools for that decade are going to be Unreal Engine and Unity, and I'm excited for what you create for it. It is empty land prepared to do war.